It's man like Dan. Come on. Welcome to Melanated Proud. Today, we have a humble brother. Wisdom beyond his years, just inspiring his peers. And with the younger generation, he's helping them overcome their struggle and their fears. So I've got the big man right over here. So come on, let's give him a round of applause, yeah? For Johnathan Reed.
Appreciate it, bro. Appreciate it.
My guy. How you doing, though?
Yeah, I'm all good, man. I'm all good. How are you?
Good. I'm good. It's been a while. It's been a
long time, man. It's been a long time.
This guy's humble, innit? It's a bit too humble, innit? So I'm going to try to get him to speak a bit more, innit? So obviously today, if you can see by the title, we're going to be speaking about unconscious bias within black people. So let's get straight into it. Unconscious bias, how would you define it?
Ooh. Do you know what? It's a mad one still. I think the best way I can describe it is almost kind of unconscious bias, not in a typical sense that we usually hear.
Yeah, because you know what, when you said it, I was like, I don't really know, because I'm used to it being related to like the opposite race and so on, and how it can predict racism and so on, innit?
Yeah.
So what was you on? Like,
so what I was on was, and I'll be honest with you, one day I was at work and you know, I had a meeting, and in that meeting was myself and various different other individuals from different races. Yeah. And you know, I was putting forward some points, and all that I could think of was, are these people thinking, who's this black guy? Oh, he doesn't know nothing. Yeah. Like, black people are always late. You know, the usual nonsense you hear. Yeah. And that's where the kind of idea of unconscious bias against ourselves comes into play, because it happens sometimes. You know, we kind of feel like we have to. For instance, you know, a coworker, you know, upsets you. You can't be you in that situation. You know, you can't be Tyrone from the ends. You know what I mean? You literally have to be kind of like Stephen, and you have to act kind of like, oh no, all right, understand. Yeah. Whereas actual Stephen can F them blind, and you know, they look at us as a thug. You're a thug. That's thug mentality. Yeah. But Stephen, he's passionate.
Yeah, but you know what? Even that statement itself. Have you ever heard them call you a thug?
Yeah.
You have?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, you have?
Yeah. So the maddest thing is that, like, that's why sometimes it's you can't be you. Do you know what I mean? Because then your passion is angry. Your passion is dangerous. Yeah. And I think that's where the idea of unconscious bias came in. Now, we now go into situations thinking that if you just so happen to turn up 1 minute late, they're going to think the black people are always late. Yeah. And I find it weird sometimes when I get like people from different races or whatever come up to me and they have a genuine chit chat. And sometimes it's like, I've got a barrier up and I peek behind the barrier and I'm like, did they see that I'm black? Do you know what I mean? Because in one sense, we're kind of brought up with this notion of, and I guess it's correct. We have to be better. We have to be faster. We have to, you know, be stronger. We have to do things better than everybody else because we're born behind. Yeah. And as nice as that is, it comes with a mental health struggle to it. Yeah. It comes like, do you know what I mean? Sometimes you feel like you're never going to be good enough because you're reaching this unattainable mark based on your skin color. It's difficult. Yeah.
You know what? Before we even go further than that, let's define it, because maybe not everyone knows what unconscious bias means. Yeah. So, how would you define it? I'll try to help you out as well.
Do you know what? I define unconscious bias as almost kind of unknowingly painting a picture of someone. And there's this kind of little kind of, I don't know if you want to call it a little story. And it paints unconscious bias in a really kind of well-off picture in one sense. And it's a father and son, you know, go for a drive and they get into a car accident and the son is brought into the emergency room to be operated on. And the doctor says, I can't operate on this boy. And the other doctor says, why not? And the doctor says, that's my son. Now, some people will look at that and say, you know, well, what I should say is the question is often asked, why is the doctor saying that? And a lot of people say, oh, they're not quite sure, you know, what's the relationship between, how can it be that be the doctor's son? And the unconscious bias is that you presume that the doctor is the dad. You don't presume that the doctor is mum.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And the unconscious bias comes from...
You got me just now.
See? You sat there and you thought, oh, why's the dad saying that? Nah, because it's the mum.
Yeah.
And unconscious bias in that sense is that you wouldn't presume that the doctor would be the female.
Yeah.
You think it's the male.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, in today's, that's probably like a 30-year-old analogy that no longer exists in today's society because we look at doctors and we think of women anyway, most of the time. But it's the unconscious bias in the fact that you would have thought that a doctor 30 years ago, you wouldn't have thought it's a woman. And the unconscious bias is literally that. It's that kind of unseeded or that rooted bias that we don't know is there, but it's there. And it informs decisions we make. It informs the way we talk to people. It informs what we do sometimes.
Right, no, it's fine. You got me. You actually got me. So I can't explain it better than that, man. So now that we know what it is, let's get a bit deeper. So like, even in terms of what you were saying about the fact that in a way we're putting the pressure on ourselves because of our own unconscious bias, based on what we think other people are gonna say about us. So that's why I asked you, like, has anyone actually called you a fag? Because like a lot of the time, I'm not gonna lie, I make a lot of narratives in my mind. Just based on
me too.
And when you think about it, they've actually never said nothing to me.
A lot, 90% of the time, nobody said nothing to me.
Yeah.
But I create this picture.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because I'm here like, am I a crackhead?
Yeah.
Does anyone else see this? But it's like, unfortunately, like, you can put it down to a degree to mental health, innit? Because we create these pictures and in a weird way, those pictures push us along, right?
Yeah.
I create a picture, they don't like me because I'm black. Next thing you know, I'm doing all the work possible because now that they can see the black guy's the one doing stuff.
Yeah.
And it acts as a service to us, but also a disservice to us. Do you know what I mean?
I think it depends on how you use it, though.
Yeah, it depends on how you use it.
Because like, even when it comes to speaking in like a meeting, for example, in my mind, I'm like, nah, they're cussing me still. Like, I don't sound like them.
Yeah,
but don't worry. Like,
that's the thing.
You feel like you're doing something wrong, innit?
Yeah.
Just for being yourself, innit?
Yeah.
Again, no one's ever said anything. So just imagine that now you're letting it affect you. And so now you're feeling down when no one has actually said anything to you.
Yeah.
That is also like a mental health issue.
It is. And it's this constant fight that we have, innit? And you know, I can't speak for other ethnic races or other kind of, I hate the word BAME, but other...
No, let's speak about that. That word is ridiculous.
Hey, mate. You know what?
Do
you know what? It's like, the way I see it is that when you don't know, innit?
Yeah.
And so at one point it was the N-word.
Yeah.
Then they thought, let's be nice to call you Negroes.
Yeah.
Then they thought coloured.
Yeah.
Now it's black.
Yeah.
Then it becomes, black and everybody else, BAME. And now they're just trying to, ethnics.
Yeah.
They don't know what to say. And I think the problem is that because it shouldn't be something to say.
Yeah, there should be no label in the
Do you know what I mean?
place, like,
They shouldn't be able to distinguish between me and someone else.
Yeah.
Like, and that's the problem with society. In
I
one
don't
sense,
think they should focus more on like culture rather than
And
colour.
again, like, I don't have to be like, you can be white and be of a Jamaican culture. Do you know what I mean? Because you've embraced that culture. You've been born into that culture.
Yeah,
Culture has no skin color.
yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
When we're talking about race, we specifically have a color. And that's the problem. Like, you're defined by race and not by culture. If it was culture, we'd all get along. Yeah. Because there are similarities in most cultures. British culture, let's be real, there are slight similarities because, the UK or Britain colonized places in the world, brought their things to, various different countries. So there's going to be British culture in certain other places. It's going to mix. Culture has no colour.
No, it's facts. It's facts. Like, back to unconscious bias, where do you think it came from?
Oh,
Like,
mate.
Because it's not a small thing. Like you said, it can actually be something that holds you back.
Yeah.
And
in
a way, you're just making up a lot of... Some of them could be true beliefs, but a lot of them are false, innit? So you're putting a barrier on your life just based on how you're thinking.
Yeah, and I mean, to think about where it came from, I don't know, man. Like, we can sit here and talk about slavery all day long, but I think it's deeper than that. I think it goes way, way back. I don't know if you believe in cavemen or not. I don't know, but it comes from a place where at one point someone must have thought, because of the way you look, you're this. So if we go into a plantation field, the black plantation workers, they're lazy. Now we get this whole thing of black people are lazy. Do you know what I mean? And
I'm not gonna lie, sometimes you don't help us.
Hey, Joe, sometimes I procrastinate, bro.
Yeah.
Sometimes I feel a bit lazy. But the reality of it is where it came from. I wish I had a clue. But you know, I think the reality of it is how can we
get rid of it? Yeah, I was gonna ask you that. Do you think it's possible to get rid of it?
I think it's possible to get rid of it, but I think you made a really good point. We don't help ourselves. And I think when we don't help ourselves, it makes it difficult for us to change the opinions of others. Again, you can argue that others' opinions don't matter, but the reality of it is that, you know, if Mr. Smith is one signing my paycheck, your opinion matters in the moment because my family need to eat. And so I think the difficulty is that each individual person needs to recognize the unconscious bias they have towards themselves and ask themselves if they're willing to, I guess, walk blindly, because the unconscious bias kind of acts as a guide for us. Because sometimes, like you said, those guys over there are having a meeting and you think it's about you and it can drive you. Are you prepared to put that aside and just free will and just go about life not thinking about they're talking bad about me? Do you know? And it's hard. Yeah.
And that's the thing, like, in a way, it's just fear.
Yeah, it's fear.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Like, even if you relate it to any other circumstance in life, whether, I don't know, someone's had a breakdown relationship or trauma, whatever it is, it's the belief that that incident's going to occur again.
Yeah, yeah.
Even though it might never occur again. So you still have to go through the same sort of process where you've got to heal.
Yeah, yeah. And that's what it is. But the difficulty is we've had like hundreds of years of trying to heal.
Yeah.
When do we actually heal?
Yeah, no, it's facts, man. Because like the time is now, really. Like, there's no excuses, and like, you know, it makes sense as to why a lot of the time we feel as though we are the representation of our race. Because like, yes, whether you like it or not, there's pressure on you.
There's pressure,
to make
man.
sure that you represent us in the right way.
Yeah,
I do feel like it's changing. Like we are doing bits in terms of like appearing in like higher, or less ranked roles and so on. However, all it takes is one person to ruin it, innit? So, no, it's interesting. But another thing, I don't know if you thought about this as well. Have you thought about the unconscious bias amongst ourselves?
What do you mean? Towards others?
Yeah, but within our own community, I mean.
So
like in terms of like, I'm not going to trust my man.
Okay,
like, or like even walking down the road, like, bruv, I know what they say on the news and that, if you're dressed a certain way, but us, if we're walking on the pavement, you see a couple man, who did that?
You stop and you walk the other way, bro.
Yeah.
Like, nah, I thought about it. And that's the reason why we can't grow though, innit?
Yeah.
Like, why can't, do you know what I mean? Why can't me and you as brothers, okay, the way that I look at it is this, like money is a problem in black community. Either we ain't got enough, or we're too focused on it, right? And money can be divisive. It can tear us apart. And one thing that I look at is, say me and you make a pact, we both like this girl, but we're bros. Yeah. We're just going to leave her, I go away for a couple months. You think, hey, it's my time to go get sis. Yeah. I come back, you're shacked up with this girl. Yeah. And now I'm vexed. I can't trust you. Yeah. And I think a lot of the times we look at it as that's kind of the unconscious bias we have amongst ourselves. I can't trust you. Yeah, no, it's fine. That's the main thing. We're both trying to get the same thing. We both want to get money. We both want to get fame, success. I can't trust you. And it's sad because that's a mentality that's ingrained in us from time, that you can't trust him. Like, he's stealing your bread. Yeah. And then the problem is now that we walk out on road and we see a couple man them and it's like, let me stay away from those guys. They might try to do me wrong. Yeah. The reality of it is we don't know. But the unconscious bias within us tells us that I can't trust you, but you're my own flesh and blood. Yeah. Even that movement in itself can now make you a target because you're moving mad. Yeah. You're moving mad. Yeah. Everyone's looking at you. Why are you shifty for? Yeah. It's tough. It's tough. But the problem is that it might not affect us, our generation, too much. The next generation is going to be a problem. The generation after that's going to be a problem. And when you look at what they say about statistics, the next generation, so not the next generation after us, but the generation after that, are going to suffer from mental health illnesses like it's a cold, or like it's flu, like it's just going to be ongoing. And that's sad when you think that, you know, right now we're doing amazing work with mental health, but we're not doing enough. But it's sad that it's literally just going to be pre-diagnosed for kids in the next 20 to 30 years.
Yeah. No, it's mad. Like, it's a joke. Like, even in terms of mental health, we're the ones that are suffering a lot.
Yeah.
As well. Like, when I go to inpatient setting, it's basically us.
It's us, man. It's us.
In the extreme end. So like, I know there's many other reasons as to why people end up there.
Yeah.
But the fact that we already place a mental barrier on ourselves.
Yeah.
How are you going to survive in a world or community where you're different and not unite with those that look like you all are going through the same sort of struggle? So like, you're making things a bit harder for yourself. So even in terms of what you said about trust, that's a good point, because like that is the main thing. Like, they always say, oh yeah, we can't trust each other. Oh, we need to start trusting each other. Like everyone's been saying that for how many years? But what are we doing? The thing is, in order for you to end up building that trust, you have to allow yourself to be vulnerable all over again.
You do.
So like, no one's actually making those actions to put themselves out there. You know what? I know what happened in the past, but I'm gonna make this little sacrifice and give you a try.
And I mean, that's a key relationship topic, isn't it? In relationships in general, in order to have a successful relationship, there has to be vulnerability from both sides.
I'm saying, like, even if you've been heartbroken like numerous times, you still got to give the next person
you got to give them. Otherwise, you ain't never gonna get nowhere.
Otherwise, it's the same unconscious bias. You're gonna fit the next guys and do the same thing.
Yeah.
So like, whether I don't know, another person from our community done you dirty, you can't assume
put that on all the random.
But that's what we do ourselves.
That's what we do, and that's I think that's what's sad about it. Like, the lack of trust in our own people. I remember going out. It's mad. I remember going to one of like the BLM rallies. Yeah, a couple of years ago.
Like freedom fighter. I was there.
I was there, boy. But I remember going and it's mad. The unconscious bias in me was like, we just look like thugs. Like, I genuinely thought we looked like thugs. Yeah. And then the crazy thing is that the thought was vindicated when thuggish behavior happened. Yeah. And it's almost annoying at the fact that as black people, we can't have nothing good. Yeah. Because we know that there's gonna be a couple people in the group that are gonna just ruin it for us. Yeah. And it's funny, like I remember way back when I was in school, there was this saying that you can't have too many brothers on one team. Yeah. And it's because everyone wants to be Flash. Yeah. Everyone wants to be LeBron. Everyone wants to be Michael. Ain't nobody want to be Scottie Pippen and just sit at the back and chill. And it was true. We'd lose games because a brother's trying to, like, the keeper's trying to do rainbow flicks to get the ball out. And it's like, nah, man.
Bro, it comes all the way back down to, like, we always talk about mentality. Like, because even that in itself, you could also argue that we've also placed that prediction on ourselves. That's not going to work.
We have.
But yeah, you can say whether it's sports, within a workplace. Yeah. If we're seeing those predictions about ourselves, imagine what your employers could be thinking. So then at the same time, can you argue that's probably why they only want to have a certain amount?
That's why you got the ethnicity. What's it they call it? Yeah, you got the ethnicity quota, only 5%, only 20%.
Because if this is what we're saying as well,
they're sitting in the boardroom thinking the same thing, and that's why it's sad, because we don't help ourselves. How are we ever going to grow if all we're doing is just chopping the tree down? Yeah, we don't give a chance for the leaves to grow. We just chop it down. And it's a shame because, like, I really do hope in our lifetime, black people really do make it to the top. And I'm not talking about the top of sports. I'm not talking about the top of the charts, the music, but I'm talking the top of politics. I'm talking, I'm talking the real deal. And it's, we've seen Barack, cool. We've got the young black lady who's running for Prime Minister, Tory leader and that. And that's amazing stuff. And that's the type of stuff we want to see. Yeah. Maybe it's because she's conservative that we're kind of, ain't nobody really like, high-fiving yet. Yeah. But we should be supporting her just because it looks good that our daughters can be Prime Minister. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Whether you're conservative, Lib Dem, Labour, I don't care. Like,
but see, you know what? Even that in itself, how many people are going to support her? Because then this whole unconscious bias thing just comes back into play again. Because you can go back, we spoke about trust, but now let's talk about support. Yeah. You've seen so many people set up stuff. Have you supported them? Even those in like politics or whatever it is that they're doing, innit? Like, there's always chances for us to plant that new seed. Because like you said, we're not allowing things to grow. We keep chopping down the leaves. But are we planting new seeds to let something beautiful grow and bear some fruits? No, we're not.
Do you know what's difficult about that one though? See, you remember when Barack was running for president, people black people were voting for Barack just because he was black. Yeah. UK politics, I think, is a little bit more divisive. And I think it's a little bit more divisive because Labour's one end of the spectrum, Conservative is the other.
Yeah.
And, you know, if you're Labour, it kind of feels like you're more about the people. If you're Conservative, you're more about your pockets. That's what it looks like from the outside, isn't it? And so I guarantee people won't vote for her because she's black, because they want to see a black woman at the top. There will be the element of politics involved. Do you know what I mean? And I think that's why she might not get as much support from the people as she needs. You know, the unconscious bias part of it is wrapped into the politics now, I think, with that. Because it's, I want her to succeed because she's black, but she might raise my taxes because that's what they do.
Yeah, no, okay. That's understandable.
So I think that scenario is a little bit sticky because of how interesting UK politics is at this moment in time. Okay,
not gonna lie, when it comes to like politics and that, I feel like you still got to make sure that they're the right candidate.
You got to be the right person, man.
The race, like,
I'm trying to buy a house out here. I can't afford for inflation to go up anymore.
No, it's true, man. But again, like, how are we gonna eradicate this, man? Like, obviously, it might still be present in people, but I'm saying like how to decrease the amount of bias. Well, like, let's just even break it down to like the lack of trust, or the lack of support. Like, what needs to be done? Because like, bro, I'm tired of having these conversations.
I'm tired too.
I want to have like practical solutions, like if there is any.
I think you got to start at basic level, and that basic level is the kids, man. I think you got to start there. Unfortunately, like, we're in our late 20s, whatever. I don't even want to say it's too late for us, but in one sense, it might be. We've had 20 plus years of looking at our other brother and thinking, what are you looking at? Like, do you know what I mean? But I think with the kids, it's still salvageable, and it's getting them to be united. The only problem is on that level, they've got their own issues, man. Yeah. They can't walk into the next postcode. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, they can't catch a bus freely. And that's why it's so difficult in our community, because at the older level, you've got Caribbeans who don't trust Africans who don't trust Caribbeans. And we're talking like our grandparents' ages. Do you know what I mean? At our level, it's hard because it's like we're young and we're trying to buy houses and we're trying to get money, and you know, I need to beat you to get money. Like, and then like I said, at the younger level, they're running around with knives, trying to be knights of the shining armor and doing all that nonsense. So, at what stage generationally are we free of any barriers? In our community, we're not. And that's what's crazy. Like, at no generational stage can I say there's unity amongst us. Yeah. And it's sad, man.
I think to an extent, our generation, to an extent, depends on what it is.
I think
maybe in terms of like socializing, embracing other cultures and so on.
We're better at embracing other cultures. But even still, like, I think it's not enough.
Yeah. In terms of like support, trust and that, I wouldn't say it's that strong. I wouldn't say. Yeah.
And I think, again, why is it even a conversation that we need to bring our nation together? Why is that even a conversation? That's why it's sad.
Yeah. But it's not just prevalent here. Like, it's even in Africa as
back home, man. Back home is probably worse. It's probably worse back home, like, because
the country's not even united there. So
they're not even united there.
It's a bigger issue. But you got to start somewhere, innit? So like, when you're talking about the different, I don't know, periods to start, I don't know, it's just like anywhere, like, because I feel like even that mindset where you feel like it might be too late for us, I feel like that's already defeating you, because like, if we're still alive, we can still do something now.
No.
Like,
do you know what?
Anything
You're
can
right.
change, any sort of rewiring. It just means that it might be harder, because we've gone through it a lot longer, innit? And children are younger, and of course they're still in the learning stage. But as you grow up, you're less willing to learn. Yeah, you're less willing to like change your mentality.
You can't teach your old dog new tricks, innit?
But you can, but it's harder.
Yeah, it's harder.
So that's what I'm saying.
Like, and I think you're right. Like, it is the defeatist mindset. Yeah, because anything can change. Like, you can change an 8-year-old man. To turn his ways.
But it's harder.
It's harder. It's harder. But I think, like, the problem is the issue we're talking about is it's a worldwide scale issue, and we're talking about divisions that are 800 plus years old. Yeah, we're talking about like millions of people taken from one area to another that causes a whole new division. Yeah, do you know what I mean? And I think that's what's tricky about it. Like, we might be British born, but go back home to the Caribbean or to Africa, you're foreign.
Yeah, no, it's true. Like, you got no identity.
Yeah,
I can't lie.
like,
you're not welcome.
it's
Well,
mad.
you're welcome, but I'm saying like you're not
Like, what's
seen as their own. Anyway.
what's that's the thing. Like, people say, "Oh, who do you resonate with?" And obviously, like, got roots in Nigeria.
Yeah,
My parents are from the Caribbean.
Yeah.
Like, ancestry in Nigeria.
yeah,
But the reality of it is I say, I don't know, man. I belong to the sea or something, because the reality of it is,
yeah,
if I go to Africa, I'm foreign. Facts.
yeah,
If I go back to the Caribbean, I'm of that heritage, but I'm foreign.
yeah,
I'm here, and the man here don't even accept me.
yeah,
Where do you belong? And I
Yeah.
think if you're British born, it's sticky.
yeah,
It is sticky, because really and truthfully, you're a foreigner no matter where you go.
yeah,
But that's what I'm talking about. Like, that division, that our generation, British born, where do we belong to?
yeah,
You know, our parents' generation, yeah, they're from wherever they're from, but there are divisions in those nations.
yeah.
As a people, we're divided.
But you know what? We've adopted the European mindset. That's what it is.
Yeah,
Because
of course.
here, everyone's for themselves. It's all that individualistic
Yeah.
sort of mentality. Like, instead of working together, we've been focusing on ourselves. Like, how many people are still, I don't know, close with their extended family and so on? Like, everyone's keeping themselves to themselves.
Yeah.
Focusing on their own thing, not trying to help other people. Once you reach a certain level, you're not trying to help them out,
Yeah.
teach them how you're doing it. It's just, everything's calm, innit?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
just happening, innit? Or like, you got a job, you're going to help the next man that wants to get into the same sort
Get
of
the same
thing.
sort of position, yeah.
Like, it's that mentality, but what can we do to change it? I feel like it's just focusing on the things that we can do that require some sort of unity. So, like, I think a good example could be like football.
Yeah.
That can easily allow you to draw people from other areas of London. Of course, I know it might be taken for some people, but even that in itself is bridging some sort of gap.
Bridges a gap,
between
yeah.
the different areas.
Yeah.
Like, it happens at older age, but at a young age, I'm not sure how much it happens.
Yeah.
Like, eventually we start mixing and so when you go uni
Yeah,
and
when you
so
go
on,
uni,
but like,
you mix with anybody.
before then. But that's what I'm saying. Sports is one good way, but
Yeah.
when people go out to motives and so on, they mix again. There's always a way for uni, innit?
Yeah,
It's just
yeah.
about thinking about the other ways, like something maybe more meaningful, something that's gonna stick. So
Yeah.
I think that's what I'm thinking about. What can be done? Because like anything that requires collaboration, maybe someone creating some sort of like project or business, and then everyone has to contribute ideas so that you can actually trial
Yeah.
things out in it. Like, this is the fresh beginning. All right, cool. What happened. All right, we're gonna work on this together.
Yeah, yeah.
And if that works, then all of a sudden, that's new evidence. Like, oh, we can work together. Oh, we can trust each other. All right, cool. Let's do the next thing. All it takes is one move to change.
And I think we
viewpoint.
can we can do it. We've done it before.
Yeah,
Black Lives Matter.
yeah,
Like, obviously I mentioned earlier, like, it went left at points.
yeah,
But we've shown that we can do it.
yeah,
And I remember that summer was wild, because you had protests left, right, and centre everywhere.
yeah,
Every nation had some type of protest. Every type of people had some type of protest. And I remember there was a school I was working at, and they had a protest.
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, but it's a shame that those protests are always born out of some type of negativity.
Yeah. I think that's my issue. Like, I don't like the fact that we only come together once
When something mad happens.
something mad happens. Like,
And that's the thing. I mean, an idea that springs to mind is, was it years ago, they used to do like concerts for like sending aid out to Africa, and you used to get all the superstar singers would turn up, people from around the world would turn up, and you'd hear the best music, and money would just be given to these impoverished nations.
bro, like, sorry, Karen, you just made me think of
Okay.
something.
And I'm thinking, yo, why can't we do that with, not in the same, not singing necessarily or music, but why can't we do something where the stars come out, and because the celebrities attract us, right? Boyega, Elba, all these guys come together because they're all from different parts of London, innit? Come together, unify us on a small scale first. Do you know what I mean? If we can unify London, you've done half of the job, innit? Just doing these little things here where we can unify groups, get us together, that might be a shout. But I think, again, the reality of it is that there has to be buy-in from everybody. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, man.
Bro, no, it's true, man. Because like, you could argue that in a way they haven't been fulfilling their duties in terms of like once they've made it, they haven't tried to really help their community.
And I think that's the difficulty, like,
because like you could argue, all right, cool, shouldn't really be their responsibility. They can do what
that's
they
what
want
I'm
to
saying.
do. That's what I'm saying. Like, so that's why I don't like to focus on them too much. But again, of course, if they did help out, that would have made some changes as well, wouldn't it?
Yeah, if they do help out, it makes changes. But like you said, like, you know, when you hear sometimes like, oh, footballers should be role models. Who said?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Who said? Like, am I a role model just because I work with young people? Yes.
Yeah.
But if I was a banker, do I have to be a role model? Nah.
Yeah.
I do what I want to do.
That's what I'm saying. In the end of the day, we all got our own individual choices.
You know what I
There's
mean?
more of us that aren't public figures than there are public figures in it. So imagine all the non-public figures get together. You can still do madness.
Yeah, you can still do madness. You can still do madness.
You can still do it.
Like, but do you know what?
It's always like pushing out the responsibility to other people.
Yeah.
It's like once they get rich, all right, cool. What about the homeless people you see in the street?
Yeah.
You still got more than them.
Yeah.
How can you helping them? Like, someone's asking you for spare change, literally, like, it could be 10p, 20p. You're still saying no. So what makes you think once you get to the top now, all of a sudden you're going to give up? It's like the mentality that I'm only going to give once it means nothing to me.
Yeah.
It's like food. Let's say, I don't know, we're both hungry, innit? You might only give me food once you're full up. Give me the leftovers. But you're not going to sacrifice half that meal for me, innit?
Yeah.
So, like, I get what people are saying in terms of, like, yes, they should do more. In an ideal world, yes, but like you said, they don't have to.
Yeah, they don't have
like,
to.
what are you doing, innit? I want that internal focus on like, what we can do. But, yeah, what you were saying made me think about charities. It's a lot of charity work, obviously, like, from the West, trying to help out our issues in terms of, like, Africa and so on, poverty. Yes, you can argue, yes, they should be doing, but I'm saying, like, what are we actually doing? Have we left the West to try and help out? Because, like, what are we actually doing? Are you sending money back home? Why can't we come together and build our own thing? If you're worried about where the money is actually going and so on, how come we haven't really tried to help out? Do you get what I mean? Like, there's always opportunities to try.
Yeah. And I think...
I know it's a bit techie what I'm saying, isn't it?
But it goes back to what you said, innit? We've kind of become consumed by Western ideals, isn't it? And so, like, when you grow up in the West and you hear your mum on the phone to Auntie Mercy all the time, and Auntie Mercy saying, oh, have you got no money to send back home? Yeah. And your mum says, they think we're rich over here. Yeah. Like, it's that, innit? Yeah. It's that. Like, it's literally a case where, like, yeah, we should be helping out back home. Like, I completely put my hands up and praise those guys like Akon or Sadio Mane, Drogba, who have gone back home and changed their nations. Yeah. What can we do? We can do a lot. And it doesn't even have to be anything in terms of monetary. Yeah. But, you know, I remember years ago, I knew people who used to send back old phones back to Africa and the Caribbean. I know people used to, like, people are still sending back clothes and things like that. And it's the small things that matter. Yeah. But again, like, the division is so much so that each party isn't on the same wavelength. So if you're in Africa, you might be thinking these clothes are nice. Yeah. But I need something else. Yeah.
You know what? I actually watched a video where they were basically saying how, like, okay, I'm not going to label it for everyone in it, but basically the video was just showing how a lot of people are just selling loads of, like, old clothes and basically clothes that they don't want to wear in it, and it's not, might not be wearable most of the time. Like, most of the time it's actually not wearable, or it's not suitable for the environment they're in it. So, like, what you said in terms of, like, old phones or technology, I feel like that is probably more beneficial for them, something that they can use to create something. Yeah,
the tech is more beneficial because don't forget, you ain't got to use the phone, but you can use the parts. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? There's only so much cloth you can use before you can't use it no more. Yeah. And I think that's the difficulty. Like,
even that mindset, you're only willing to give it once, you're done with it.
You know what I mean? That's the thing.
Then I'm gonna give it.
It's like I'm gonna give my worst, and not my best. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
That's
like, no one goes to Gucci and Prada and buys out the whole store to send it back to Africa. Yeah. No one does that.
So that just tells you your viewpoint, or your respect levels.
Yeah, because
for your own,
you're viewing, because in your mind you view your old trash items as gold to those in poverty. When really and truthfully, you can give different. Like, you might have an old PlayStation 2. I'm just thinking about what I'm envisaging in my yard right now. Yeah. An old PlayStation 2. I know that they probably don't want to play that. The kids out there, they're probably asking for a 4 or a 5. Yeah. But do you know what? Someone can take those parts and use those parts to better another product. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So like, yes, I'm giving something that I no longer want, no longer use. But do you know what? When I think about it, there's 5-6 different uses that you can create out of that one item.
Yeah.
If I bring the torn up shoes that I got in my backyard, I give that to a child in Africa, they're only going to get more torn up.
But you know, that's the mindset we have. We only think, okay, cool, it's bad, all right, cool. They should appreciate it anyway.
Yeah, but do you know what's bad? Us as Westerners, we know if you brought that to my table and said, here you go, I bought you some, like, here's some shoes. I'm like, what's that?
Yeah.
Like, human nature is that we desire things that are complete, things that are the best. Just because these people are in poverty doesn't mean that they don't want the nicest things. They still do. Don't kind of diminish what they want because they have less money or they don't sleep in a nice house or they sleep out on road. Don't diminish them.
Bro, it's the same as like homeless people. Again, I know I keep mentioning, but like, imagine you're only willing to give them pennies. You fully got a pound there, or maybe even 10p, 20. You're like, nah, let me get rid of my pennies.
Yeah, let me get rid of the pennies. Yeah.
Like,
but do you know what? Do you know what's mad though? I won't lie to you. I've seen some homeless brothers with better crap than me.
Yeah. No, I'm not gonna say that.
And they got new ones every week.
I'm not gonna say that. I get what you're saying. Always like innocent and so on. But at the same time, there's also a flip side to it. Imagine
there's always a flip side. To it.
There's money given to you as a homeless person.
Yeah.
The moment you decide to get a fresh trim, or I don't know, clean yourself and so on. Now you're not because you're not worse enough. You're no longer homeless.
Yeah.
It's like everything is irrelevant. People want to wait till you're completely battered before they help you. That's the same as us and everything. Like, you're only going to help the next man once he's really down, on their knees,
once
down.
He's down.
But it shouldn't get to that.
That's society though, isn't it?
Like
we have to feel sorry for you to help you.
Yeah.
And that's what's sad.
Bro, think about your heart. Your heart's cold then.
Yeah, man.
Heart's cold.
Because
it is.
Because remember, it's you versus me.
Yeah.
That's why there's the division. Because it's always going to be you versus me. You can't always be happy for another brother's success, which is what's sad. Because it's you versus me.
But why? Like, why can't you? Like,
it's mad. I don't know. That's the crazy thing. Like I think the nice thing is when, like, obviously, like, you meet people and you're on the same wavelength. Yeah. You both have goals. You both have aspirations. And if you can help each other, amazing. Yeah. The problem is that not everybody's like that. Yeah. And that's the scariest thing. Like, where did we go wrong? Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
I also feel like you got to flip the narrative. So, like, even though that is the general context or the general feeling that you feel like, everyone is in it for themselves, all you got to do is change the representation. It's like media do that all the time, like, by just projecting whatever they want to project, and that influences like how you.
The media are amazing.
I'm saying, so why can't we do the same thing? Like, getting the people that are like-minded in that sense, show the goodness that they're doing, and show how it's working, and so maybe how they've profited from it. Because all of a sudden, people feel, you know what? Let me get my man, that man. Like, let's try to do our thing, innit? All of a sudden, people are changing because, like, again, your representation kind of is the only way to change a whole narrative. Because, like, of course, not everyone's going to come together, but, like, what you do in your circle or what you do in your city, whatever it is, that's a starting point.
But that's the thing. I think it's all about representation. I think it's all about how people view it. Like, think about this. Like, if I said to you that there's a government leader or a president or whatever of a nation that lies to the people, that says to you, you can't leave your house, but he or she leaves their house all the time, puts in curfews, employs their friends who have done wrong in the past, you tell me that nation is corrupt, innit? Yeah. And 9 times out of 10, you tell me that nation would either be a Middle Eastern nation, an African nation, a Caribbean nation, like a nation out in, near China. Yeah. What if I told you that was the UK? Yeah. Now that I told you it's the UK, because that's Boris Johnson in a nutshell, the narrative changes, innit? Because, the UK can't be corrupt. Yeah. So I've given you one scenario, or many scenarios, and most people listening would have thought, yeah, you're talking about some African nation.
Oh, you got me again.
I'm talking about the nation we live in, bro.
Those look like different continents.
Exactly. Yeah. But that's the UK. So it's all about representation, man. And it's also about how far you're willing to actually accept what you hear. Because the problem is I think, because of the lack of trust, we're not willing to accept what we're hearing. Obviously, you can't always accept it. Yeah. But it's just the fact that we're not on the same wavelength anymore. We're not on a pathway where we're willing to work together. And I think that's the saddest thing. Like, we do need to find some type of unity somewhere. We do need to make small ground, and it takes one movement. It takes one person with one idea, one movement to shape a whole nation, innit? But it's just, how do we do that?
Yeah,
and I think that's a question that we might not cover today, we might not cover next week, but it's just gonna have to be an ongoing conversation because we've had hundreds of years of trying to figure out unity.
I think to be honest, I feel like there are ways, but I feel like not everyone's willing to.
Not everyone's willing to put in the work.
Yeah, it's like you can argue that if there's more youth groups or let's say groups for young black men, so like brotherhood, sisterhood, parenthood, or mixing between those that don't have fathers with father figures and so on, like just loads of different groups. But who's willing to do that stuff for free? For free,
exactly, for free.
Yeah,
that's the problem.
Even in terms of like our own sort of like job centre, but the black centre, like just trying to help people with jobs in it within the community. Like you can help people experience, give them a day's work. But then
that's where the unconscious bias comes back into it, isn't it?
Yeah,
because you know for sure there's gonna be someone saying, "Oh, if I hire all these black people, you're gonna ruin my business."
Yeah, no, that's
and
true.
I think, and again, like I know obviously the topic is unconscious bias, and we're talking about mental health and everything, but that's the reality of it, innit? And I think, you know, I'm guilty of it as well. I'm guilty of, you know, seeing the negatives in a situation. Maybe sometimes, well, to be fair, I try to see the positives, but sometimes we see the negatives in a situation because we're always trying to kind of protect ourselves. Yeah. And if I know the negatives, I can protect myself better because I know what to be aware of or what to be afraid of.
Yeah, no, you're right, man. We're all I'm guilty as well, man. Like it's sad. It's sad, man. I'm just trying to focus on the forward thinking, innit?
Yeah,
what can we actually do? Because
and I think the forward thinking is you got to start on you know what? Like nowadays, you can do anything, man. You can do, you can sell a random event. You know, you can create an event on Eventbrite, sell it. You know, do a survey, see what the people want to hear about. Yeah, find speakers, boom, your event right there. Doesn't take that long. Do you know what I mean? And I think it's some of that.
Do you not feel like it's happening already? Like slowly, there's like some sort of revival because I'm seeing loads of like initiatives going on. But again, you can argue that some of those initiatives are quite selfish in a way. Yeah, like, they might do their thing, but they're only doing it because they want to be the ones that stand out, and they're not trying to help you out. Yeah, I mean, I saw an event, Hackney Wick, a couple of weeks ago, and it was like a black event. That, you know, black food, black music, like just.
Is it a borough cup or is it?
No, it was just a stall.
Oh, okay, cool.
Near Hackney Wick station. Was it Hackney Wick? Something like that. Hackney Down, sorry. And it just black food, black music. I think there was a club in there as well, like at the back somewhere. And it was just black people embracing our culture. You had white people there, you had Asian people there. And to me, that's a good start. Yeah. It's an amazing start. Yeah. My whole thing is, what's the message? Now, the message is buy black. The message is listen to black. The message is eat black food. But what's the message? Yeah. What's being said? Yeah. Because my thing is that I want to hear you speak about how we come together. I want us to hear you speak about, you know, why the real, you know, black history in the UK isn't being taught to our kids. Yeah. I want to hear about that type of stuff. How can we campaign? Yeah. I'm all down for listening to Bob Marley and you know, Burna Boy. I'm all down for it. Yeah. But I want to hear a message behind it. Yeah. And I think these events are cool, but I always think with our community, we have to think about the message as well. Yeah. It's no longer enough to just bring us together. Yeah. Because 100, the message is lost. Yeah. People have been we've been bringing ourselves together for years and just doing nothing. It's just fine. It's like, look how many events there are. Do you know what I mean? There's always times where we're together, but what are we actually speaking about? There's so many opportunities to like grow. Yeah. And and is there a message that's changing people? Because me and you could go to an event and there's no message. We're just together. Yeah, we can go outside and two brothers are stabbing each other on the sidewalk. Like, I want to hear a message that brings us together, that makes me believe that I can trust you and you can trust me. And if we work at this, we can actually do something amazing. Yeah, like I think, I don't know if you've seen it. There's 3 brothers that they go around and do the raffles for the houses and that. No, I haven't seen that. Okay, so
three black brothers, sorry, and they buy these houses and then they raffle off the tickets. And if your raffle number gets read out, you get the house.
Yeah. Actually, I think I saw them on Instagram.
Yeah.
I was gonna try and apply.
Yeah, boy, I've done it twice. I ain't won no house, but
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. Now, their unity is natural. They're brothers.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Their unity is natural. But why can't we have unity where anybody say we have to start selling off houses, but we come together on initiatives?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Right. You know, job centre. Why can't we have the black centre?
Yeah.
Like, why can't we go in on an initiative where we actually have a black A to Z of businesses?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
I know people are trying to do that. Like, they're trying to create a directory.
I was thinking of doing that myself.
Yeah, someone's doing it already.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can do it as well. But you're right, man. Like, what you said really just spoke to me. When you spoke about in terms of like the opportunities where you're together, let's say in a club or something, like there's always bare people in it, but
there's no message.
There's no message. And for years, we've been together, whether it's carnival, whatever it is.
Oh, carnival's a big one.
There's so many opportunities.
There's no
to
message.
Get a word in, innit?
That's one thing why like I haven't been to carnival in so long, because what an ample opportunity yearly to bring people together of a similar community, similar culture, and we dance, we eat, we laugh, but we go home and there was no message. Yeah. The unity was there, but the unity to one degree was superficial. Yeah. Because I'm still going back to my yard, hating man them from across town. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? We saw each other. Yeah. And we might have nodded, yo, what's up? Yeah. But when carnival's done, if you're on my block, it's long.
Yeah, no, that's true.
And there's no message. Like, that's one thing I can't really stand. Like, the unity is there, but the unity sometimes is superficial.
Yeah, that is superficial. Because, like, if the message isn't there, you're not really gonna regard your moments together as anything. Yeah. Because you're focusing on anything else. You're still focusing on yourself.
Yeah. It's just a shubs. Yeah. People used to use the word shubs. You just go out.
That's what it is. It just happened to be there. Isn't it? Like, because there's so many opportunities to get a message in. Like, no one's saying that it's got to be a long message. It could be one line, or not one line, but like one, let's say like 2 minutes, 1 minute speaking, done. All right, cool, everyone have fun. But at least you got something.
At least you've got something, and you never know, it might touch a couple of people. Yeah. And I think that's the key thing. Like, nobody's saying that you have to go out there and speak to the masses and, you know, be a pioneer like Malcolm X or Martin Luther King Jr. No one's saying that. But what we're saying is that, you know, how can you, what are you giving to people? Do you know what I mean? I always feel like if I'm having a conversation with someone, I need to leave you with at least a few words that make you think differently when you leave that conversation. And I think that's the hardest thing. Like, we have all these events, but for some reason, as black people, a lot of our events involve alcohol, food, and shaking your waist. Yeah. And that's not an issue, innit? But
I think it's just distraction.
It's a distraction sometimes. It's a distraction. Like, do you know what I mean? You go to meetings of other communities and they're really talking about how we can change things. Like, I never forget when I heard that, you know, in some Southeast Asian and Middle Eastern communities, you might have a group of men who come to the UK looking for work, and there might be 15 of them living in one house, 1 4 or 5 bedroom house, and they all when they find work, they all contribute to the house. Yeah. And then once one saved up enough money, or when they've all saved up enough money, one person goes and buys a house. Yeah. You've got 14 left. Yeah. And they're all contributing for each man to get his own yard. So the last one's there, that's your yard. Yeah. Like, they're servicing each other, and it might take 30 years. Yeah. But they're working together. And I think that's powerful. We don't do that. Yeah. We might not have the finances to do that, but we don't have the trust or the bravery either. We don't. Black people, we don't take risks. Yeah. You know, like,
I would argue that we do have the finances. I'm not saying that we have to be proper wealthy. No.
We have the finances, but again, it's like the finances in addition to the risk and the bravery, it kind of isn't there, because remember, what's mine is mine. Yeah. I don't want to share it with you because you're out to get me. And that's why, going back to the whole scheme of things, just this divisive mindset has torn us apart. Yeah. I genuinely think we are the most divided people on the planet. Yeah. Not just geometrically, but I think mentally, spiritually, physically, we are so disconnected from each other that You might be my long lost cousin.
Yeah.
But I don't know because we're so disconnected.
Yeah. It's facts, man. It's facts. Like, it's the Asian community, the Jewish community, even the Eastern Europeans. Like, you've seen so many people come on. First, they're scapegoated by media or like the locals and so on. But they came with a game plan.
They came with a
and
game
actually
plan.
Worked together. And look, they're doing well for themselves.
It's mad. Roll through Edmonton and Tottenham.
Yeah.
Turkish, Kurdish community. And I respect what they do, man. Yeah. They have their own centres and everything. And then they buy other businesses. Yeah. Roll through Stamford Hill. The Jewish community. I respect what they do. They do it so well. Now, yeah, in one sense, people complain because these communities segregate themselves from other communities. Yeah. But you know what? They build and they build on a massive scale. They actually build, and I love it. Love it to bits.
Why can't that be us, man?
Why can't that be us?
Yeah. It can happen though. That's the thing.
What? It can, and I think it will.
Yeah. And it should start now because, like, if anything, our capital is growing. Yeah. So, like, there are things that we can definitely do. Yeah. It's about when it's going to start. Because like you said, you don't have to be Martin Luther King, but you can still
start.
We're more connected than ever before in terms of, like, the past. Yeah, yeah. In terms of UK, I mean. Yeah. Like, even the fact that we can reach out to different people through social media and so on. Like, there's so many ways to actually start stuff. Yeah. Like, you've got the resources.
The resources are there. And I think that's the major thing. The resources are there. So we can't complain, like, say we ain't got no...
But the mentality, that's what needs to change.
Mentality needs to change.
Like, how does it need to change? Because we always hear it. People complain about the black mentality. But how do you actually change that?
It's where you want to change it.
I think that's the main thing. That's the key to everything. That's where it starts. That's where it ends.
That's where it starts. That's where it ends. But do you want to change it? As in, does Darren on the roadside want to change his mentality? And that's where you have to hit the people at an individualistic level. Because majority of us do want to change. Yeah. But, like, sometimes you need buy-in from the whole group. Yeah. And I think, you know, if Darren doesn't want to change, do we leave him by the wayside? Or do we still welcome him in and show him something new, show him something different? I think it's how can you change each individualistic mind to get onto the same wavelength as everybody else and see how we can succeed together. It's mad. I remember watching, you know, like you watched the Idris Elba's like rendition of Mandela. And he was like, when you have the handout, you know, each individual finger is weak, but they come together and it's strong. And it's like that. If each one of us isn't prepared to work together, then we're weak. Yeah. And I think that's why there's a plight of black people right now, because we're just working as individuals. We're not actually working together. When we do work together, how strong we will be, because we've shown that we can be strong. Yeah. Problem is that I think, and some people might think it's divisive, some people might think it's wrong, but I think this is, you know, not on the same level, but this is a fight in terms of unifying ourselves that can almost go alongside with, you know, trying to get ourselves out of enslavement and trying to get ourselves, you know, the rights to freedom. Yeah. I think this new struggle of unifying ourselves is another one of those struggles. Yeah. Because it's so massive. Yeah. Never before have we really deeped that we are divided across so many planes on this planet. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. You go to the US, they're divided. You go to the UK, we're divided. You go back to Africa, we're divided. You go to the Caribbean, we're divided. We're so divided that the task seems like insurmountable. Yeah. But it is possible.
But I think that's the thing, because you look at how many different areas of like division there are, that will make people say it's impossible.
Yeah, it's scary.
People say it's impossible.
It's scary.
But like I said, it's the mentality. Once you call it possible, it's possible. You start from there, innit? You start within your own community. You start doing stuff. I do not believe that you need everyone to be in agreement with what you're doing. All it takes is like-minded people to come together and change the narrative. Because like I was saying to you before, like, as human beings, we are influenced by what we see. Yeah. So all you got to do is show it so people see and then believe.
Yeah.
If you just talk, you're not gonna believe because you haven't seen the evidence, and we move by evidence.